Hello, everybody. How are you this evening? And thank you all for being here. My name is Kelly Mcrae. Back in February, I was diagnosed with lupus, and since that time, I have been sharing coping with my diagnosis. Because of my diagnosis, I am no longer able to work a traditional job, and I realized by being out on social media that there were other people who were battling illnesses or disabilities who also were not necessarily able to work a traditional job. So I decided that we would talk to people who were doing things that were a little unconventional, and they don't necessarily all have disabilities or can't work, but some of them just got tired of the boss. So today we have Jimmy Turner. Jimmy is battling multiple sclerosis, but you would never know it because he changed the way that he eats. He's gone full vegan, and he is not taking medications. I'm gonna tell this story. He is not taking medications or had a problem with his MS in 3 freaking years, guys. But that's got nothing to do with today's interview. Today's interview is about the business that he and his sister Quantel have started online. So Jimmy, give me a little bit of your background. Talk to me a little bit about what it is that you and Quantel have done.
Well, first of all, good evening, everyone, and I'm happy to be here with Kelly, and I just want to say thank you, first and foremost. And so, yeah, just thank you for letting us speak about our company, and we're really excited to have this opportunity. So, just a little bit about my background. I've been teaching Spanish now for 4 years. At the high school level. I've also taught at the lower school level and middle school. But those were probably 1 year, and I did teach in middle school for about 3 years. So it's been mostly older kids that I've dealt with. Now, after about 3 years of teaching, my sister and I, we were just out and about. My sister, she does marketing and communications, and we were just sitting at home one day, and we were just thinking, like, hey, you're good at marketing and really selling the company, and I'm good at Spanish. Maybe we should combine forces and do something with this. And we were also hearing off, a lot that that adults were in need of, that they wanted to speak Spanish.
Yes.
There was this huge need for adults that were out there that were saying, man, I realized that having Spanish and knowing Spanish is a commodity today. And I really wish I had paid attention more in school, or I really wish that,
Guilty.
Exactly. I really wish I had placed more effort into it because I didn't realize that it was going to be so important today. And so we really started to listen to that need. And so we just decided that, okay, maybe we should create this company that's targeted specifically towards adults that want to learn Spanish. And we named it Jolt because it's kind of like a jolt. It's our symbol is the lightning bolt. So it's kind of like a jolt to revive that past Spanish opportunities that you have, or better yet, revive the opportunity, or revive something.
That synopsis to be able to start learning again as an adult. That desire.
To be able to start learning again, exactly, that desire. The whole campaign, our whole campaign is about revival, being able to give someone a jolt, whether it be adding Spanish to their repertoire in order to advance their career, or picking up Spanish from a long time ago, them studying it a long time ago, and reviving that so they can be able to utilize it today.
Perfect. So let me ask you, Jimmy, because I know that some people are probably thinking this. There's Rosetta Stone out there. There's what's it? Penciler, I think, is the other language thing out there. How do you all stand aside? How do you stand out from what we know is popular? Because everybody is familiar with Rosetta Stone. So what is it that makes you and Quantel's business so special and so unique that people aren't going to the Rosetta Stones?
Absolutely. Well, I actually just wrote a paper about this. Rosetta Stone, the big issue with Rosetta Stone is that it promotes the audiolingual method. And when you talk about language teaching, there are four main methods of language teaching. And so that one of those four methods is the audiolingual method. And the audiolingual method, basically, you memorize specific scripts of a language, and you repeat, and you learn the vocabulary within a specific context. The disadvantage to this is that you don't learn how to create the language. Rosetta Stone does not teach you how to construct the language, how to understand grammatical concepts. It just tells you, okay, you want to go to Mexico and you want to go shopping, right? Or you want to go to a Spanish-speaking country and you want to go shopping.
You know I want to go shopping.
Exactly. So, hey, well, oh, Kelly. You want to go to Mexico and you want to go shopping. So Rosetta Stone gives you the vocabulary to go shopping, and it gives you chunks and phrases that'll help you with having a conversation about shopping. But take, for example, you're having that conversation about shopping in Mexico and you're feeling pretty good. And then the native speaker is thinking, hey, she can speak Spanish pretty well. And they decide to start talking to you about your cousin. What are you going to do?
Right. You're right.
That's the problem. You don't have, Rosetta Stone does not give you the ability to create the language. And so when our company is all about that, our company is about giving people those specific contexts. Yes, we're going to talk about the theme of shopping, but let's be able to give you the ability to create outside of that context. We're going to give you themes and we're going to give you objectives so that when you're learning the Spanish, you can understand that you're moving towards an objective. Take, for example, if the theme is shopping, well, you need to be able to discuss gift giving or how to be able to discuss an exchange, talk about money, all of those things. But that shopping is a piece of an entire curriculum in which we talk about different themes. And then we teach, and in the midst of us talking about those things, we teach you how to create the language. That's the thing that separates us from Rosetta Stone. We teach you how to create the language as opposed to memorizing it and it being a rote memory exercise.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Julie has me laughing. She says she knows how to ask for 2 beers, but she doesn't even drink beer. So that's what she'd be asking for. But I have to agree with you because, a couple of years ago, I went to Chile and I had taken Rosetta Stone. And when I got down there, I was completely lost, even though I had taken this Spanish course. So I would have to agree with you from, knowing from experience. So now you guys, I know, obviously from my experience with Rosetta Stone, that there is no real, like every now and again you get a live instructor, but it's like this group method and you're not corrected on a lot. Tell me how it is. What are you guys doing as far as your platform and what you're teaching on?
Oh, absolutely. Well, basically our curriculum works like this. We're all virtual so that we can be able to reach a wide range of adults and a wide range of people. We have clients in New Jersey. We have clients we have a client in New York. We had one in Florida. We have
and let me interrupt you real quick, Jimmy. And let me interrupt you. I hate to be rude and interrupt you, but guys, I want you to know that Jimmy is speaking to us from Chicago. His sister is in Atlanta. They were both here up until about a week ago when Jimmy was like, I'm out of here. But just so you all know that, yes, you guys, please share this out. There's that little button to post this on Facebook and post this on Twitter, because the information that he's sharing is really good information. And also, if you've been thinking of doing an online course yourself, it's not just about language. There's a lot of value that you can take from this for other things that you can be virtual on. So I'm sorry, Jimmy, go ahead. Please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted them to know that you guys are in 2 different locations and you're doing this business.
Absolutely. And one thing I had to clarify to someone yesterday about the online, when I was talking to them about the company, is that it's not just an online school, meaning like you just log in and you do work by yourself. It is face-to-face. It is virtual like we're doing right now. So that's something that I wanted to definitely clarify because we, in the mediums that we decide to utilize a Google Chrome. We also use Skype. We value that human connection as far as teaching with our clients and working with our students. That's very important to us. So, but yes, it is online. And the way that our curriculum works is this: we operate in themes. Majority of the time, when you look at education or Spanish education today, a lot of foreign language teachers like to promote grammar, right?
Right.
They'll say, here I'm gonna teach you, and given in terms of Spanish, right? I'm gonna teach you about ser and estar, the verb to be, or that's what they lead with. And with our company, no, that's not what we lead with. We lead with real world situations. That's the way that we like to construct our curriculum. Today, our theme is going to be description of self. And you have a set of objectives. Our students have a set of objectives that they need to meet within each of the themes. So take, for example, the very first lesson, greetings and farewells. All right. So the objectives for that lesson is students will be able to introduce themselves and state where they're from. Second objective, students will be able to state, introduce someone else and state where they're from. And then the third objective, students will be able to express the days of the week, the current day, the past day, and the future day. So these are all tangible things. And right. I mean, to give even more tangible examples, I mean, to highlight some of the things, we talk about shopping and gift giving. We talk about clothing, and the objective will be, hey, you'll be able to describe what you're wearing or what someone else is wearing. Family in the physical, be able to talk about your family and about how you feel. These are all real world tangible objectives that we like to lead with. And the grammar points happen to go into those things. We don't lead with those. And that's what makes the curriculum all the more exciting. We say, okay, here's what the theme is. These are the objectives that we're looking to complete. And and the way that we get to those objectives is that we have to talk about those grammars, not the other way around. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So it makes you retain a little bit more because it doesn't feel like school. It feels like an actual conversation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So hey, let us teach you all of the grammar, and then you figure out how you can apply it to within a certain context. It's the other way around. Let's talk about these contexts, and then let's show you how the grammar fits into these contexts, because the objectives that we have within these contexts are the goal. You need to be able to talk about your family and where you're from.
Right.
Talk about how you're feeling. Talk about a past vacation. Talk about activities that you like to do. And that's us teaching you how to construct the language. Okay. And not only that, we have our students start using the language automatically. And I know that may sound intimidating, but we don't, just, vomit it all over the student, saying that we force you to speak automatically. No, we start with simple, we start with simple conversation. And so every time our student walks away, they feel like they've learned something, that they've gained something from every class.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the things that I like about the way that you guys are doing this is, some of us speak like gringos. So the accent is not where it's supposed to be or that kind of thing. So I like the fact that you're in your face, so to speak, where it's like, because I could be running around here going, well, adios, and you're like, no, it's and so I like the idea that you're there to correct and make sure that if I'm going to sound like a gringa, I'm not going to be the worst gringa out there, So I do.
Oh, yeah. No.
I like the idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the great thing about online. I'm sorry?
No, you were speaking. Go ahead. You're starting to cut out a little bit. It's going crazy on us again.
Oh, okay. I think I hear you better now.
Okay, good. Okay, so you were speaking. You were saying the thing that you liked about, because I was saying I like that you're able to correct the pronunciation of words, and you were going to say.
Oh, yes. I was going to comment on that. And yeah, that's the advantage of having individual lessons with our clients is and seeing them face to face is because, you know, we can take our time, we can work through all of those things as opposed to having a Rosetta Stone where, like you said, no one will be there to check you and to make those corrections and to be there and say, hey, all right, listen to this and make sure that you are, you know, hearing this correctly.
Exactly.
Correctly.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about excuse me, the flexibility of having this business. And even though you're not necessarily affected at this point by your multiple sclerosis, let's talk about the ability, though, to continue to carry this business forward, even if you were having an issue. Now, tell me how that, did that play into you all starting this business, your diagnosis, or was this an after the fact? Talk to me a little bit about your diagnosis and how that played into this, if at all. And Blab hasn't frozen again. Hi. Can you hear me, Jimmy?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Well, with my diagnosis, I think that a lot of things for me, a lot of things into perspective about my life and of course the choices that I wanted to make in my life. Definitely my health, as you mentioned earlier about me becoming a vegan. It did come across my attention that, if ever I'm out of commission, what would I do? So that's what really spurred me to become a vegan. I really didn't want to go through the process of being hospitalized again and being out of work and having to, really struggle with trying to find employment or get back on the horse after something like that happened. But as far as us starting this business, it was really one of those things that, like I mentioned earlier, we saw it within the adult community where they said, we were hearing a lot about different adults saying, hey, I really wish I had taken the time to focus in on the Spanish.
Right.
And when I was learning it, or I really wish that there was an easier way or a more individualized or personalized way to learn Spanish, because it's always something that's been on my mind, that's been on my bucket list. Okay. And so we started to hear a lot of that, start to see a lot of that, and so we really wanted to address that need because we both had talents in order to do it. Okay.
So then your health really didn't play that much into it, but if you needed it, you still have a fallback plan that you could work from the house, which is
definitely.
Which is awesome.
And yes. So after the fact, now that I'm looking at our company, and even if we were not able to maintain full-time jobs, we would have this company and we would still be able to maintain it because it is online. It's pretty much conducive to both of our schedules and to our client schedules. And to make it clear, and I really feel like this shouldn't be a secret, we're really trying to make this something bigger and larger than life. And, you and I have had this conversation that, we just don't want this to be something that's on the side. Eventually we want this to go into something bigger. And so to think that this could sustain us and this could be our sole source of revenue one day, that's a big deal. And to be able to have it online, and in the event that something does happen with my disease, and even my sister who was fighting leukemia for a long time, that's special. That's something special.
Exactly. So let me ask you, since you mentioned you guys are wanting to scale this, I know that Rosetta's pretty pricey. So let's talk a little bit about, I know you have some packages and all that. And guys, if you guys are interested in going to Jimmy's website, he mentioned it's Joe, but it's actually J as in Jimmy, Q, his sister's name is Quantel, T, no, that's wrong, JQL So it looks like Joe, except it's got a Q. JQLTeducation.com is where you can find his website. I tried to put it here in Blab, but we all know Blab is being a butt this evening. It's just not being nice at all. Do you all have any questions for Jimmy that you would like to ask either in the chat? I have unlocked a seat for you all to, JQLT. Thank you for that, Tira. And thank you, Benicia. I appreciate that. It's JQLTeducation.com. But if you want to hop in the hot seat, go ahead and call in. Otherwise, if you want to just put if you're shy and you just want to put your question over in the chat area, that's awesome. Please do. But in the interim, thank you, Tira. Thank you guys so much for being responsive to sharing that information. So price-wise, I know that Rosetta Stone, I paid a pretty good penny for Rosetta Stone, and I got 1 year worth of online. I could have bought the box, but I bought the online because it had that element where once a month or whatever it was, you had an instructor that would, go pregunta, but so talk to me a little bit about your packages and that kind of thing.
So our packages, we have 3 main packages, and they're based on time mostly. So we have a super rapido, and mediano. So super fast, and medium.
Intermediate.
Plan. So the super rapido is twice a week that we meet with our client, and it's our lower priced package because we meet with the client so often. So it's about $40 a session, and each session you get is about an hour and a half for the session. Our second plan is going to be the rapido plan, which is going to be about $45 per session. Again, you get an hour and a half of time, and we meet once a week with those clients. And then finally, we have the mediano plan, in which we meet with the client 3 times a month, and that's about $55. So the less time, the more expensive.
Expensive.
Yeah, more expensive the price, but the more time, the less expensive, because you're dedicated more time to it. And we really wanted to promote more time to our clients. So we really recommend that they do super rapido or the rapido. And of course, adults, they have a lot going on. So if we can understand that we can understand when they can only dedicate a week or 3 times a month. So that's why we decided to do those. But anything outside of those, like once a month, it's not worth it, because we want to make sure that we're providing a great service to them. And, I've studied language learning and acquisition, and there's a certain amount of time that you're supposed to dedicate to it. And, I factor the language acquisition process and how much time one needs into the curriculum created. And that's something that we always think about when we're going about creating it. We got to make sure we keep that in mind. So we never want to rob our clients of any quality and giving them the product that they expect. So,
exactly.
But yeah. So I'm there.
So and now let me go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
So let me ask you, and this will probably be after this. We'll get ready to kind of wrap it up and give our final thoughts. I noticed that you use Skype, you use Google platform, that kind of thing. I noticed that you didn't do. Hang on a second, Dee Dee. I'll ask him that question. I noticed that you use platforms that are very common in nature. Was that so that you could again appeal to the masses, or was that something where you were like, okay, looking at the other course type platforms, they were too expensive and you didn't want to pass that cost on to your customers? What motivated that idea?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that question.
Darn it! It was a good question too, but you know what? I'm gonna put a pin in that because we're getting questions from our audience, and those are more important. So Dee Dee Mocha wants to know. She says, "What happens if you already have a background in Spanish and you just need to work on conversations?"
Well, we do a good job of gauging the level of our students. So as I was explaining earlier, we have set out themes with specific objectives that we meet within those themes. So what I typically like to do is, in order to gauge the barometer of the students or the level of the student, is that I start to go through those objectives and see if they can meet those through conversation.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I'll give them the set out themes and the objectives, and the student will be able to look at the theme and say, and the objectives within each of the themes, and say, okay, I can do that. I can do that. I can talk about my family members. I can talk about the family members of someone else. I can describe what I'm wearing. And as soon as they meet an objective that they feel that, oh, I'm not really comfortable with that, that's where we'll start.
Okay. Okay. So then conversations would definitely be something that you would be able to help them with. You just have to, like you said, gauge exactly what level they are in order to be able to get them. Okay, perfect. Now, Benicia wants to know if you offer services directly to companies to train groups of employees, or is that a direction that you guys are headed towards?
That's the direction that we're headed towards right now. Well, that's the direction that we're headed towards. Right now, we're just focusing on providing individual lessons to students that would like them.
Okay, I could have answered that one for you, Benicia, but I wanted Jimmy to answer it because Jimmy and I have had extensive conversations about ways that he and Quantel can scale this business, especially since he was leaving. I was getting ready to say Florida, especially since he was leaving Georgia, and he left and went to Chicago with no traditional job. He mentioned at the top of this that he has a job interview up there. But again, having your business in place and having clients already, Jimmy, was that kind of what gave you the confidence? I mean, I know you're a bold man anyway, but did that help you knowing that you had that extra income if you needed it?
Absolutely, absolutely. We always have that as a safety net. That's what we're using it as right now. But our main intent is just to primarily build capital. But in the event that it got really rough, we could rely on that.
Yes. Okay, and I'll tell you guys, I'm gonna get y'all just a little bit into Jimmy's business here. I mean, like his personal business, so to speak. When he and I were talking, I can tell you guys that based on the conversation that he and I have had, this business has provided because they both, Jimmy left here, he left a teaching position. His sister does have a position as well. This job or this business has provided them with savings. So there have been a few times where they've had some emergencies, and we all know, especially when you're in a position like I am where you can't work anymore, when you don't have savings, one little thing can throw you into a tailspin. So this business has provided them with a nice, as he mentioned earlier, a nice safety net to be able to have, withstand a few emergencies if they needed to. So that's been an added perk of them having this business. So,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So Jimmy, do you have anything that you would like to share outside? I want to make sure you guys have his website. Please, if you know someone that is in need of learning Espanol like myself, because I took Rosetta Stone and Jimmy and I have already discussed the fact that I need some help. So make sure that you visit his website. Again, it's jqlteducation.com. Check it out. And see what you all think. And again, a little bit non-traditional as far as a means of income. So for those of you that are like me, hopefully this is giving you some ideas. Again, it doesn't have to just be languages. You could be teaching soap making as Trisha does, or you could be teaching whatever it is that you teach, and you can use these online platforms. So he's just giving you a idea of how you can use Google Hangouts, how you can use Skype, and those things that we take for granted every day that you can actually use and turn into business tools. So Jimmy, you have any final words before we get ready to hit that pause recording button?
No, and again, I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity, and I thank everyone that tuned in this evening to hear about our company. We're really excited about it, and we love it a lot. So hopefully we'll see some of you.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, Benicia. She says, great interview. All right, so let me hit the pause recording.